I'm continuing where I left off with the show user edit form method. A quick reminder, this is the final output of the show user edit form. I want this form to be low maintenance, as user properties would be added frequently, and this might become a bottleneck. The solution for that is Instant UI, which automatically creates user interfaces from property objects. There are obviously constraints we need to adhere to so the UI would be usable. We'll discuss those. These properties don't fit into the UI. Notice birthday uses a long value instead of date, and so it's hard to map it to the UI. When I implemented this, I thought about converting the birthday from long to a date object, but eventually decided against that. Dates are very flaky, as Java implicitly includes time zone, and we naturally think of them as calendar dates. Birthday is a perfect example of this. Serialization via JSON with date objects is painful, so I wanted to avoid that. The solution is a bit convoluted, but it works. I added a metadate entry and hid it from the serialization code. I'll discuss that later when we go over the changes to the user object. The gender string is a multiple choice option, so we have the labels and values for the choices so the right UI is shown. This creates a container that lets us edit the content of the me object. I add some padding and make the container scrollable, since it contains text components and they must have a scrollable parent. Instant UI implicitly binds the UI to the user object, so we unbind when leaving the form, when we save the changes asynchronously. This creates a dynamic editable form. One of the chief benefits here is that the generated UI can be improved seamlessly with no change to your code. This won't create the image from before though, since the property names don't have spaces and right casing. This won't look like that. We also need to add a birthday property to match that UI. This is a meta property that looks like a date field, but delegates everything to the actual birthday property. We also add the birthday date property to the index. The display labels for every property are set here. If we didn't do this, we'd see the property names instead. The birthday date would be ignored from JSON map code, so it won't mess with the other logic. There is a bit of CSS we need to implement for the entire settings form. This is the white border surrounding the avatar. We need some padding to make the border visible. The margin on top pushes it down so it will peak below the cover image. The camera circle is black over gray with a small enough size so it won't intrude. We want the title area to have margin at the bottom so the avatar image will peek out. This is a big enough label for the name of the user below the avatar image. With that, settings are done.